It was supposed to be one of the best days of my life. I had just graduated with a degree in computer science, top of my class. My family threw a huge graduation dinner at a fancy restaurant. Everyone was there, my parents, beaming with pride, my grandparents, my cousins, and of course, my Aunt Carol. Aunt Carol has always been, well, Aunt Carol, she's the type who believes the only respectable jobs are being a doctor, a lawyer, or maybe an engineer in a very traditional sense. Anything creative, anything new, anything she doesn't understand. To her, it's just a hobby. So we're all sitting around the table, the appetizers have just arrived, and my dad raises his glass for a toast. He talks about how proud he is of me, about all the late nights I spent studying, the sacrifices I made. It was a genuinely touching moment. Everyone clapped, and I felt on top of the world. Then Aunt Carol cleared her throat. The whole table went quiet. Well, she started swirling the wine in her glass. It's all very nice. But computer science, what are you even going to do with that? Sit in a dark room and play with computers all day. It's not a real job. Honestly, that degree is probably worthless. Silence, you could hear a pin drop. My mom shot her a look that could curdle milk. My dad's smile vanished. I just sat there, stunned. All the joy, all the pride I felt just moments before, it all deflated. I tried to explain that computer science is a massive, growing field with incredible opportunities, but she just waved her hand dismissively. Sure, she said. You kids and your little gadgets. For the rest of the dinner, I just picked at my food. Her words echoed in my head. Worthless. It was a bitter pill to swallow on a day that was meant for celebration. I didn't argue with her. I didn't cause a scene. I just made a quiet promise to myself. I wasn't going to just prove her wrong. I was going to show her. That night, instead of celebrating, I went home and started coding. Her words, as hurtful as they were, lit a fire under me. Worthless? She said. I'll show you. Worthless? I spent the next 2 years working like a man possessed. I took a decent paying but soul-crushing corporate job to pay the bills. But every night, every weekend, every spare moment was dedicated to my own project. I was building a software platform, an innovative tool that I believed could change how small businesses manage their logistics. There were so many times I wanted to give up. I lived on instant noodles and coffee. My social life was non-existent. My friends would call, asking me to hang out, and I'd have to say no because I had a deadline I'd set for myself. Doubt crept in constantly. Maybe Aunt Carol was right. Maybe I was just wasting my time. But then I'd remember her condescending smile, the dismissive wave of her hand, and I'd get back to work. After about a year and a half, I had a working prototype. I started reaching out to small businesses, offering them a free trial. The feedback was incredible. People loved it. They said it was saving them hours of work each day. That's when I knew I was onto something real. I quit my corporate job, poured all my savings into the project, and went all in. It was terrifying. I was burning through my money with no income. But the user base was growing, slowly at first, then all at once. Word of mouth was spreading like wildfire. Within 6 months, my little side project had become a legitimate small company. I hired my first employee, then a second. We were building something special. Fast forward to last week, 2.5 years after that disastrous graduation dinner, we just closed a major deal. A much larger logistics corporation, a company that had been in business for 50 years, acquired my software company. The number on the contract was it was more money than I ever dreamed I would see. One of the conditions of the acquisition was that I stay on as the head of the new digital division. It was the perfect outcome. I still have my baby, but now with the resources and backing of a major player in the industry. And here's the best part. The company that acquired mine. It's called Sterling and Sons Logistics. My uncle, Aunt Carol's husband, has worked there his entire life. He's a mid-level manager in their accounting department. He's been there for 30 years. So last night, we had another family dinner. This time, it was to celebrate my parents' anniversary. And of course, Aunt Carol was there. Throughout the meal, she was back to her old tricks, bragging about his son, my cousin Mark, who just got a small promotion at his law firm. She turned to me and said, with that familiar, patronizing tone, "So, are you still playing with those little computer programs of yours? Did you ever get a real job?" I just smiled. I didn't say a word. I just pulled out my phone and slid it across the table to her. On the screen was the official press release announcing the acquisition. The headline was bold and clear: Sterling and Sons Logistics acquires innovative tech startup to revolutionize operations. And right there, under the headline, was a picture of me shaking hands with the CEO. My name and the name of my company were everywhere. Aunt Carol picked up the phone. She squinted at the screen. Her jaw slowly dropped. She read it once, then she read it again. She looked up at me, then back at the phone, then at her husband, who looked just as shocked. The table went completely silent, just like it had 2 years ago. But this Chimmy, the silence was different. It wasn't awkward, it was satisfying. She finally looked up at me, her Fossey Polly. "Sterling and Sons," she whispered. You sold your little computer thing to Sterling and Sons?" I just nodded, took a sip of my water, and said, "Yeah, funny, right? Turns out my worthless degree wasn't so worthless after all. By the way, tell Uncle Rob I'm looking forward to our first all-hands meeting on Monday. As his new boss, I've got some big ideas for the accounting department." The look on her face, absolutely priceless. Proving her wrong felt good, but the real victory wasn't about her. It was about proving to myself that I could do it. It was about turning a hurtful comment into the fuel that drove me to build something I was proud of. And that feeling is worth more than any acquisition deal. So if someone ever tells you your passion is worthless, don't just get mad, get to work. And then show them the results. Thanks for listening to my story. If you've ever had a similar experience, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more. See you next time.